The rest of the story. Bill was under arrest. Under arrest. His fate now lay in the hands of the War Department, and the prospects were not promising. You're an Army doctor, you keep your nose clean. And Bill, it seemed, had not. He got caught doctoring more than the patients, apparently. Oh, excuse me, you've not yet met William Worrell. He came to the United States from England, age 26. He studied medicine in Indiana and Missouri. He was in his 40s when he went to work for the Union Army. Civil War was underway. A system for enlistment and conscription was established, and Bill's job was examining enlistees and draftees at his state's enrollment board. And I'll tell you what was particularly tough about that in those days. The fellows who wanted into the Army often tried to hide medical conditions that might exempt them, and the boys who wanted to stay out of the Army sometimes faked medical conditions that would have ensured that. So, the examining physician at the enrollment board had to keep his eyes open. If he exempted too many draftees, he was likely to be reprimanded. If he accepted too many unhealthy recruits, he risked discharge. So, Dr. Bill, according to most accounts, did his job very well for more than a year. But then the newspapers began buzzing with talk of a state enrollment board scandal. Somebody discovered that Dr. Bill had been giving private physical examinations at his apartment after hours, and he was charging money for them. And the worst of it was that most of the men he examined, when they appeared before the enrollment board, he granted exemptions from service in the Army. Soon the entire state was talking about it. Bill's friends proclaimed his personal integrity, his obvious innocence, but everyone else demanded an investigation, and an investigation they got. At the official hearing, Dr. Bill confessed that he had conducted after-hours physicals for men who wished to know their chances for exemption. And yes, he did take cash for his services, never more than $5 each. Had he been seeking bribes, Dr. Bill insisted he could have asked for and got much more. But anyway, a colonel named John Averill, who conducted the hearing, did not believe the physician. So at the conclusion of the proceedings, he ordered that Dr. Bill be placed under arrest, returned to headquarters, let the War Department decide what to do with him. And the War Department's decision was to dismiss Dr. Bill from his enrollment board job for having practiced on the side. And that was that, you would think, but do you know that historians are still arguing this case? A Civil War situation, and it's still in debate. And the reason anybody cares, after all these years, is this. Following his hearing and his consequent dismissal from the Army, Dr. Bill, now a civilian, went home to Rochester, Minnesota, and there he established a civilian medical practice into which he later invited his sons, and his sons ultimately participated. And you know by now that the practice of Dr. Bill, Dr. William Worrell Mayo, led one day to something which today we esteem as the Mayo Clinic. Only now you know the rest of the story.